Hello, Raul.
Hey, Marta.
Hi. Yeah, well, we are going to do the share between our works, the shares that we have sent to each other, and yeah. So maybe I just start with impression and the feedback that I got from your work. Um, uh, for me, when I see the development that how you talk about what you've been doing, I see that well, the name that you give to is Casagrafía, so it already in itself it enhouse yeah, like a graphic of a home. So already, yeah, that's the impression. Also, what I had. Um, I see that you started for you was very important that you started to talk about finding new corporaties or new bodies, and you were wanted to have like unexpected answers, and then from these new bodies or new spaces, I mean, in a way I see that through your work it's and how you went living actually the real body, the human body, and somehow you went into object bodies, but in a way you are talking about the concept of memory. So actually, in a way, is how this nobody has a memory, and that information is collected in these objects. So I would like if, for me, if you could explain for you this, yeah, what is in a way for you that body or these new bodies that you have discovered, and yeah, and also how, yeah, this memory live in it and the spaces that you have created.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you, Marta. Uh, yeah. Through the my uh, trip on this research, I start in the dance. I started in the dance, and as I was telling in the video, I in some moment I didn't have dancers, so I have to work with people without dance training, and so I start to receive new answers from these people. I was used to work with dancers and have specific answers, specific technique that they are following in a specific way, that they are relating the center in a specific way.
So
And
it's new for you. Sorry, is this new for you then? Before you didn't. So this object, a strong object relation that I see in your work now. This is new from now, or did you work before
yeah,
with
but
objects?
I have been working with objects during my creations. There was like using the object as a toy. But when I start to change, I start to move from dance to more to the object was when I found when I was without dancers. So I start to work with no dancers, not training people. I start to have new answers from this, new ways of movement, new opening, and I start to from these people start to see how they were also relate to the moment, to the space. They were completely open because they didn't have any mechanical way to use the space. So I start to move from this. I start to find in these people the perception of the space, the relation with the space, the relation with the moment, because these people was completely open and kind of
Mhm.
like really concentrate what was happening. They didn't have any mechanical way. So from then, from this kind of perception of the moment, I start to see that there was a lot of things influencing that kind of uh, movement, that there was the space, that there was the objects that were around, that there was the music, that there was the sound. So I start to be more concentrated in these objects and to jump from movement to objects and from objects to movements. So when I get close to the objects, I discover all the information that objects has by itself. First, I start to see the objects as an extension of the body, the human body. So,
Okay.
for example,
Yeah, but excuse me, because before we go into the object as a body, I somehow I am curious to know how do you make the decision of to say I don't need the people.
yeah, well,
Or because I mean now what I see is I mean I see that you are creating the giving life to the memories and so you are giving life to the objects, but somehow you have really changed. It's a very clear and a strong decision of why you it was not necessary the people and because anymore because you said I mean what they gave to you or you saw in the objects this is the new body
yeah.
that you found that you wanted. So
So
because that yeah.
here this is coming the idea of participatory systems. So it's not that I put the people outside; it's that I discover that I don't need to have native performers or in my work. Like I don't need to have people that are preparing and training for my work. Uh, that I was more interested in the people who are coming as unexpected performers, as an audience to be immersed in my work. So the thing that I was preparing was I was preparing the space to interact with the people. So this is the thing that right now I'm doing is
Okay, because this
creating systems, participatory systems, where the public can come as a public, but also the public can transit from the being a public, being an audience, to being a performer, an expected performer in different kind of levels. So this is why I'm interested. So this idea though, to start to work with not dancers, with people who didn't have training, gave me this idea of open body without any mechanical reaction. So I was interested. So I started to create spaces to interact with that body. So in this transition from stop to train the body to have some reaction and manipulate the space
yeah.
to receive some reaction. I get interested in the objects as a section of the body, in the interactive spaces, in the choreographic objects, in all these subjects. I don't know if, yeah.
And now because it was before you now I got now I understand the human the you transmit it into the public so the public in a way become the body let's say the human body and before you were also it seems to me now that you are interested now in through these objects to give a body because they're full of memory they're full of the memories of the people for also
Yeah.
for what I see so in a way it seems to me is that through these objects, you want to leave the memory or you want to transmit the memories of all these people that you have encountered or when you did these choreographic chats, where you collected all this information that you collected from all these people and somehow, for what I understand, you didn't need to ask a new body. You wanted to use these memories of those people and like somehow enhouse it or into this form, these objects, and through these objects is your way that you can share those memories with public, and
Yeah.
then the public can live these experiences. Is this? I mean, this was a little bit
Yeah,
the
it's more or less how you're telling. I found the some kind of enjoyment in discover the dynamic memory, and so when I am sharing a memory, well, sorry, I discovered the object as a container of memory. So when I have interaction with the body with the object, I relate with the object with one my own experience, my own memory, But when other person can relate with the same object with different kind of memory or similar, or if I put an object close to another object, these two objects together constellate or relate in different way and create a new memory, a new links. So this information and this memory contained in the bodies for me is really interesting, the way that is dynamic, and for different person is different, and through the experience and through the interaction with other people, the information of this object is changing. So, for example, I discovered some kind of memory that can change in the real moment. Some memory that is ephemeral. For example, as we were seeing in the work of this woman who came to make a lecture last time.
Yes, Mariel Gray. Yeah.
There was a memory that she can, for example, make a bow in the mirror, and there was a small memory of what was happening up there, breathing, but it was really ephemeral memory. Yeah. So how dynamic is this memory? Another person can come and do the same, and it will be a new, really dynamic memory.
But in a way, when you talk about memory, then it means you're talking about past.
About past.
Memories, because memory, it's so in a way, what you are creating, you are relating to past.
Yeah. So the thing that I found in this matter of time was that some memory can be safe for a short time, really ephemeral moment, like the bow in the mirror, or some sound, that was traveling through the air, and it was already happening something there, but the sound is taking some time to come to us as a memory of what was happening. But also there are other kind of documentation of the memory that permits, that is safe more time, and so I really like this dynamic of the memory, how it can change, how it relates to the time, and how one memory can change and change and change and rebuild and rebuild. For example, my father was telling me some story, and he was all the time adding or taking out some things depending of the new situation, the new context. But it was the same memory, but with new ingredients. So the memory for me was always something really dynamic that was changing with the time and was feeding, and so was feeding with the present and the new actions and new things, new ingredients. So that's why I want to experiment with the memory, to see how the memory is acting, and not only as a document, but also as a dynamic document that is feeding up all the time.
Say that again. What do you want? Sorry, could you repeat this again?
Yeah, for example, I have this box as an example, and this, for example, I'm recording here some kind of memory that I want to remember the next day. Tenemos que llamar a la escuela, tenemos que hablar con Marta, tenemos que hacer más tareas de la universidad para el 14. So all the time that I want to record a new memory, I have this button to record. But as soon as I record the new memory, the old memory is erased. So the new memory is triggered by the old memory. So the new memory has elements and traces of the old memory, but this old memory is not existing anymore. It's just the new memory, but this new memory is fed by the old memory. So
Yeah.
this is how I want what I want to research.
Go? Where do you want to go? Mm-hmm.
I want to research that in the space, and how, but relate completely to the space and the objects. So how, if I travel through the space and through all these objects, how this memory and how the space and the objects are relate to my corporality, to my experience, and this create a movement in the space.
Okay, I think we have half a minute to finish, because then we have 50 minutes. So, and then now, would you be then involved yourself as you will be yourself playing with all these, obviously, with all these memories. So you are the mechanism that moves or puts or yeah, so you will be actually the performer in a way, with the
Yeah.
objects, with the
Well,
objects.
yeah, with the I will be kind of like a
No, not
facilitator
the
of the
performer, but the facilitator, because at the end, the performers will become also the public. The
yeah.
public will be the performers. So,
But I'm thinking myself as more like a facilitator, but also kind of host. So it will be like a native performer because I want to be in the space, taking care for. I am kind of a filter of all this what is happening. So in the end, I have this interest in participatory systems, so where the people is coming and participate and create, but also I have my own creative and aesthetic interest. So I want to be also the one who is creating the images. So I am dealing with these two parts in my work, that is participatory, but also I am not only the system creator but also the image creator. So
okay, all right, yeah, thank you. Um,
Martita,
going to stop it.
okay.